Hello everybody and welcome to Forever Rugby on Forever Sports for today's preview as the Lions host the Sharks tomorrow night at Emirates Airline Park in the match of the weekend. A huge fixture, both in terms for each team, but in competition as a whole. If the Sharks can get a victory, then suddenly they can sort of close that gap between the Bulls, and maybe it's sort of becomes a two-horse race for that top spot and potentially host semi-final and final. But if the Lions win, suddenly they're really in with a shout to try and push for a home semi-final, try and get that second place slot as well. And on the back of two impressive victories for the Lions against the Western Province and against the Cheetahs, they'll be looking to try and add the Sharks to the list of teams that they can beat. The Sharks, on the other hand, will take a lot of confidence out of the fact that they beat the Bulls last weekend. Very, very good result there, and a huge impact and a huge statement, really, victory for them last weekend. However, as a result of a few COVID cases within the Bulls, the Sharks have been forced to shuffle the pack, so it's not quite the same pack as last weekend, which could affect them. It is still quite a strong side. The Lions, on the other hand, fairly consistent, waiting on two late fitness tests, and we'll talk about them in a minute before they can confirm their lineup, and pretty much the same lineup that beat the Cheetahs last weekend. Before we look at the two teams itself, please do subscribe to the channel, bottom right hand corner there. Smash a like on the video as well. Jump in the comments, let me know what you think is going to happen tomorrow night, where we will be doing a live watch along. This will be live just before 7 o'clock here on Forever Sports, so make sure you subscribe to the channel. Come and hang out. We're going to chat about the entire game, about the rugby in general, across the sport, or across the nation really, and just have a good time as you watch what should be a very, very interesting match. And in terms of the teams, that is the Lions side for tomorrow night. So two fitness tests on Steve Sithole and Vincent Chatuka are the two names which haven't been confirmed just yet. If they pass their fitness test, they will start. Otherwise, Dylan Smith and Willem van der Slees will come into the team. Jacob Asaki, Yanni du Plessis, same as last weekend. Yanni du Plessis, I was very impressed with him. I was a bit skeptical when I first saw him starting, but he was very good, brought a wealth of experience, and he worked very hard. You know, we know that he probably doesn't have, say, 60 minutes left in the tank. You know, he's getting on in years, but he can be used very effectively to try and sort of create a bit of a momentum, and then you've got some very good players come off the bench. You know, Carlos Sardi will come back into the lineup in the next week or two, back from getting married and stuff like that. The locks, Willem Alberts, Marvin Orie turning into quite a nice combination. Marvin Orie is very solid come line-out time, and Willem Alberts adds a sort of a needed grunt to the Lions pack, which allows the like of Jacob Kriel, Vincent Chatuka, and Len Massane to be a bit more expressive. Vincent Chatuka was the man of the match last weekend. Very impressive match from him, as well as Jacob Kriel, who's starting to find his best. Len Massane's a hard worker, not necessarily the most flair player, not quite like a Warren Whiteley or Seeking Noche, but does the hard yards. Andrew Warner was particularly impressive last weekend. Scored 2 tries, and well, you know, I was surprised when he came straight back into the lineup, but you know, definitely proved that he is a top number 9. It's going to be a very interesting battle between him and Morne van den Berg for that starting number 9 position in the weeks to come. Alton Youngster will obviously captain the side. Cornels Kassan, Stian Pienaar, the two wings will have not changed. Dan Kriel, Wandisila Similani will once again partner up. Tian Swanepoel starts at full back. Then on the bench, Jan Henning Kamper will cover hooker. Ruan Dre and Vian Herbst are the proper replacements. I would imagine Vian Herbst drops out of the 11 and out of the 15 or 23 rather, and Dylan Smith will take his place on the bench if the fitness test goes well for Steve Sithole. Raya North-Nachel and Rudolf Smith are the other two forward replacements. It'll be interesting to see if Willem van der Slees does sort of come in place of Raya North-Nachel, or if Rudolf Smith gets left out, which I'll be surprised. Came on last weekend, which was really good to see his first appearance in signing for the Joburg side. Morne van den Berg, Burger Odendaal and Jumbo Lengo will be the rest of the bench, unless they go with a 6-2 split, potentially leaving out Jumbo Lengo. And then Carlos Sardi and Manuel Ras are available if there are any injuries or anything like that, and any late changes. And then in terms of the Sharks side, so immediately if you look at the side, lots of changes in the in the tight 5. No Dan Juster, Mike Kumbrei also gets a starter alongside Kieran van Vuren and Oxenchair, the ever-present Oxenchair, who's playing very nicely at the moment. And then 2 new locks, JJ van der Merch and Aston Fortuin. Aston Fortuin gets his first start as a result of the COVID protocols, which have meant that Hiron Andrews and Ruben van Heerden will play no part this weekend. But it is the same loose trio in Dylan Richardson, Henke Venter, and Seekomboze Noche. Dylan Richardson particularly was very good last weekend. Seekomboze Noche had moments, but overall will probably want to lift his game a bit. And then that backline is exactly the same. A lot of talent, a lot of flair, a lot of excitement in that backline. As Saneda Nohamba partners, match winner Curran Bosch, Yapenke, and Spoon and Corsi are the 2 wings. Marius Lola, Kanya Amo captain the side. A very good game back from injury last weekend for him. Mani Liebach, who proved a lot against the Bulls last weekend, will start at full back. So just a lot of raw pace and creativity really in that back line. You think of Curran Bosch, Penke, Lukanya Amspoon, Corsi Monilivo particularly are very good attacking players, and Marius Lowe is quite solid in the midfield and a very hard worker. You know, discipline sometimes lets him down a bit, so you'll want to try and sort that aspect of his game out, but a very exciting player. And then if you look on the bench, Fez Mbate gets a chance as Dan Juster is out, and Zamo Majola, John Hubert Mayer will be the other front row cover, and then Temalani Boli, James Fenton, and Pepsi Buthelezi are the other forwards, a 6-2 split. Pepsi Buthelezi, because he's such a dynamic and player, especially in the open, between him and Sikomo Zenoche, can probably slot into the backline if really needed. James Fenter, you know, against his old side, he was touted to be a potential Lions captain in the future before making the move to Durban. A very hard worker, a very good tackler, doesn't miss many tackles, and usually tops the tackle stats. Temalani Boli was very good 2 weeks ago. Jaden Hendricks is a very exciting player. I'm excited to see him give a good chance. Watched him a lot at junior levels. He is a very exciting player. Jamie Ward, we all know, sort of Mr. Consistency at the moment. You know, a very physical player, brings in sort of big hard hits and works very, very hard. But unfortunately, he's not going to be displacing Lakanya anytime soon. So two very solid sides. I think you look at the Lions pack and you'll think that they've probably got the upper hand in terms of the pack. They're a lot more experienced in the likes of having a Yanni Duplessis and having Willem Alberts. A lot of experience there, whereas you look at the very inexperienced JJ van der Merch, Ashton Fortuin, Dylan Richardson, you know, Mark Kumbaraya, Karen van Vuren. Not a lot of experience in that Sharks pack compared to the Lions pack, who have a wealth of experience across the pack, with only sort of, you know, Len Massane, even Francis Tutuka, probably the less experienced players, but have still played a lot of rugby at this level. The Sharks backline, on the other hand, very exciting. Both backlines should be a very good watch, because they're, you know, both like to run a lot, and I'm particularly looking forward to that Similani versus Lakanya battle, because they're both very expressive number 13s that like to have ball in hand, enjoy offloads, enjoy a chip and chase, and like to try and create something out of nothing. So it should be a fantastic clash. Let's hope that the weather plays ball. It hasn't been great weather today in Johannesburg, but we're hoping tomorrow will be a bit dry and will be good conditions for running rugby. If it is rain, then it comes to a kicking battle, it will become quite interesting, because Curran Bosch and Alton Yankees, you know, are both players that you have capacity to kick, but sometimes tactically kicking can let them down. But, you know, Curran Bosch might have the edge there, but, you know, you never underestimate the experience of Alton Yankees and what he brings to the table. Let me know what you think is going to happen in the game. I'm going to go Lions by 7. I have to back my boys, but I think it will be a very close game. I think it's going to be a very tightly contested game. I think the Lions have got a lot of confidence at the moment, as do the Sharks. And I probably would have said that the Sharks would have a very good chance of winning, even much better chance of winning, but that all those changes in the tight 5 means the Lions do have a potential avenue to try and exploit tomorrow night. But let me know what you think in the comments below, and I'll chat to you very soon.